With the gameplay trailer revealed at PlayStation Experience this weekend, fans all around the world breathed a collective sigh of relief that Tetsuya Nomura and his team were doing the highly anticipated Final Fantasy VII Remake justice. Anyone who was holding back on jumping aboard the hype train found themselves gladly joining the Midgar Express. With the cries of elation still ringing in our ears, many questions came to mind. How is this so far along? How is their English voice acting done already? But one piece of information came to light that nobody was expecting. The Final Fantasy VII Remake will be a multi-part series. What? With those words, the hype train derailed, leaving the passengers strewn along the tracks. Why would they do this? How could they possibly do this to us? The word episodic started flying around the internet as every bit of enthusiasm imploded, replaced by anger, frustration, and trust issues. But just wait. Just hold off on the outrage for now. In interviews with Famitsu and Dengeki, director Tetsuya Nomura and producer Yoshinori Kitase addressed the issue in a bit more detail. Kitase stated, "To begin with, the reason we haven't done the remake until now is because it's really hard work to recreate everything from the ground up with current technology. And so there was more than a little feeling that we couldn't just carelessly plunge into it. If you're going to remake Final Fantasy VII in HD while retaining the feeling of density of the original, it'll end up at a size that can't possibly fit in a single installment." Nomura reiterated, "If you put it in a single installment, you'd have to make a lot of cuts to the content, and you'd have to make it a digest version of Final Fantasy VII. If it has to be like that, it doesn't make sense to do the remake. For example, this time around we want to make it possible to explore various parts of Midgar, which you didn't get to do in the original. And because we're doing this, I want to put in as much content as I possibly can. But even with that done, if in this version we're going ahead with additional scenes, and with the level of detail of this product, we expect that the overall size of the game will increase compared to the original. I'm sure everyone is worried about the schedule of the game among other things, and we want you to be able to play the game soon. So it's also for these reasons that we're drawing this line in the development process." In an interview with Dengeki, Kitase stated, "The video we showed you this time around was of, among other things, Sector 1 and Sector 8. And just from that alone, I think you can feel the density of it all. If we were to remake all of the content from the original game in that quality, no matter what we did, it would not fit into a single game." So, what exactly does this mean for the remake? That is still unclear. Many fans are still left reeling, crying, "cash grab." Personally, I'm fine with this. Reading these interviews, which I'll link to in the description, a lot of my initial concerns are alleviated. From Nomura and Kitase's statements, it definitely seems that they're dedicated to putting their all into this game, and won't make compromises. This game is going to be huge, and expensive to make at the standard they're aiming for, so it is understandable that they want a return on their extra investment. But I don't believe this is their primary motivation. Splitting this game up will ensure that we get everything we want, and more. It still hasn't been decided how the game will be divided up. They have stated that each part will be as big as a typical game. This would lead me to believe that it won't be just a typical episodic model. I presume with the file size, we're talking standalone physical releases on Blu-ray, which carry save data from the previous installment. If this is the case, I couldn't see them splitting it up into more than 2 or 3 releases. We've seen this work in other media such as the Lord of the Rings books or movies, and it would be fitting to have it on 3 discs, just like the original. One thing is for sure, this is going to be bad for our wallets, with many fans having to buy a PlayStation 4 to play it on, myself included, and a TV. But if it's done right, and I believe it will be worth it. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll have more coverage from Jump Festa in a couple of weeks, so keep checking the Lifestream.net for news and translations. And check out our other videos. We have editorials, Final Fantasy audiobooks, Let's Plays, and much, much more.